Hello, everybody. My name is Taya Mack. I reside in District 2, and I attend Sacramento Charter High School.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lena Susu. I reside in District 2, and I attend NP3 High School.
Hello, everyone. My name is May Lin. I reside in District 6, and I attend John F. Kennedy High School.
My name is Gao Ving. I reside in District 8, and I attend Luther Burbank High School.
Hello, my name is Uche George. I reside in District 1, and I attend Del Campo High School.
Hello, my name is Emma Bailey. I reside in District 5, and I attend John F. Kennedy High School.
Good evening, City Council members, City Clerk, City Manager, and Mayor Steinberg. We are the Gold Diggers. Our group's topic is human trafficking awareness. After conducting extensive research, we have found just how profound this issue really is in Sacramento. We would like to show a video that shows just how pressing this problem of human trafficking is. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's report. Today, our story is Silent Isn't Golden and Human Trafficking, which describes the fight to bring awareness to the human trafficking problem in Sacramento. Sacramento County continues to be one of the biggest hubs for human trafficking, yet the youth SAC are none the wiser. Yes, you heard that right, folks. Despite human trafficking being a big problem in California, an exclusive one in SAC, the children continue to be not informed of these dangers. More on the story with May.
Thank you, Taya. We have conducted a local survey to understand the awareness of this issue among students in Sacramento. Most of these students are in middle school and high school, their age groups being those who are most susceptible to human trafficking. From our survey, we have found that while many students know of human trafficking, not so many are aware that this is a major problem in Sacramento, nor are they aware of any resources for human trafficking. I'll pass it on to Alina for more information.
Here's something an anonymous participant of our survey had to say. Thanks for letting me know about the human trafficking hotspots. I've known for a while that Sacramento has a human trafficking issue, but I've never been super familiar with it or knew how bad it is. And I'll be sure to do some research about the signs that someone may be in trafficking or in danger of it. It's always good to have more information on these kinds of things. And another participant of our survey stated, "My family personally has been affected by that, so I think it is a big thing to promote so others are not affected by it."
With this lack of awareness, when asked what human trafficking looks like, students showed that they had numerous misconceptions. Some misconceptions are that human trafficking is kidnapping and forced sex trade. That is not always the case. Many can fall into the trafficking system due to a desperation for shelter, food, or safety, a trend that is very high with LGBT youth that have been kicked out or abandoned. Others can be groomed and pushed into believing that they aren't exploited when they really are. Human trafficking is also a racial equity issue. People of color are disproportionately affected by human trafficking. 40% of those affected by human trafficking are African Americans and 24% are Latinx. Additionally, those in poverty or in foster care are more likely to be trafficked. This can happen to anyone, and yet the youth of Sacramento aren't fully aware of it.
This is why we request that human trafficking awareness posters are provided in local businesses. We request that the city would implement a citywide human trafficking awareness campaign, which would include city-funded posters, our PSA, our billboard, and the spread of community resources that promotes human trafficking awareness and support. This could help Sacramento youth understand how big of a problem it is and help them stay safe and enlightened as well.
The youth of Sacramento should know about human trafficking in order to protect themselves and each other. They should know where hotspots are, what resources there are to support trafficked peers, and how to identify those who may have been trafficked. Our team was able to interview a survivor from the CSEC organization about how we're able to identify victims of human trafficking. She stated, "They tend to often have a change of appearance, tattoos, expensive items, and substance usage." Human trafficking is a huge problem in our community. Despite all our efforts, without more awareness among youth, they will continue to be in danger of falling into the system themselves. Now, as you saw in our PSA, human trafficking can affect anybody, but there are some groups that are more at risk for human trafficking, such as LGBTQ youth, foster youth, homeless, immigrants, individuals with a history of domestic violence, those from a low socioeconomic background, and PIPOC, Black,
Indigenous, and people of color. Sacramento is a primary hub for human trafficking in California, and we need to continue to fight to end human trafficking.
So there are many misconceptions about what human trafficking looks like, and to support this conclusion, we conducted a survey with youth whose age group is the most susceptible to human trafficking. With this survey, we found that many people believe that human trafficking was kidnapping or forced sex trade, which is not always the case. Meanwhile, others didn't know that human trafficking was a huge problem in Sacramento.
Statistics show that around 80% of the participants from the survey were not fully aware of how big of an issue it is in Sacramento. We need to spread more awareness to combat misconceptions and end human trafficking. We request a policy that requires local businesses to have awareness posters that include educational resources and resources for those affected by it. As we are aware that there are already federal and state laws that require some businesses to implement awareness posters, but we propose that it should be expanded to all businesses.
Further implementing this method of preventative education and providing resources to those affected by human trafficking, more people will become aware of this issue. It is also important for youth to know the resources so they can not only protect themselves and others around them, but be safe and be able to identify the signs of human trafficking. We request that the city funding and resources should be allocated for the implementation of a citywide human trafficking awareness campaign.
As you saw earlier in our PSA, the awareness campaign would include our billboard, our PSA, posters, and the spread community resources that promote human trafficking awareness. We request the Council's assistance in bridging a conversation with the Sacramento County Board of Education to assist in integrating this awareness campaign to all schools in the Sacramento County. This would allow the city to also make a greater impact with an awareness campaign because school districts would then be able to use those resources funded by the city to reach the youth in a way the city might not be able to.
It is vital to create an awareness campaign, bring awareness to resources for those affected by human trafficking, bring awareness to indicators and signs of trafficking, and create ways to prevent or intervene in human trafficking. The awareness campaign implemented citywide with our billboard, our PSA, and city-funded awareness posters, and the collaborative effort made between the city and the Sacramento County Office of Education are ways we can prevent human trafficking and promote awareness of this issue and resources. Now we would like to show our proposed billboard.
As you can see, there's a lot of blue around the billboard, and we have a blue ribbon because blue is the color that represents human trafficking. On the bottom, we have a national human trafficking hotline, which redirects you to city resources for human trafficking. And on the right, we have a diverse group of people, which is supposed to show that anyone can be a victim of human trafficking. It doesn't matter your race, your sexuality, your gender, anyone can be a victim. And it's important that we pay equal attention to each and every single group.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation. We will now accept any questions, comments, or concerns.
Great. Thank you very much. Did really well on a very serious topic. And I just want to let you know that you've got a member of the County Board of Education who's been listening to you through this whole thing. So we'll hook you up on that. We're going to start with Councilmember Guerra, who's done a lot of work on this issue, and doesn't surprise me that he wants to be first.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And you know, I applaud you for bringing this issue up. And I do want to commend that it was actually our youth commissioners who helped in organizing and drafting the human trafficking ordinance that my office put together and the City Council approved this year. And the fact that you brought up that it takes everyone to make a real impact on this, that no one can be silent, that the community can't be silent. I also appreciate the fact that you guys took the time to understand what is in current law, and that yes, there are some businesses that are required to have these posters, but that it's not every business and not every entity. And so the proliferation of making sure that people are aware of it is so critical. Because sometimes we pigeonhole human trafficking as some smaller issue that's somewhere else and not here. I think you guys hit the nail right on the head there, and to say that it's your engagement as everyone in the community, and that can happen to anybody who can fall into this, is critical. Most importantly, I'm glad that you also put out the hotline number out there, because even when we do talk about human trafficking, The question is, what do you do about it and how do you engage it? So the two-prong approach of getting a number out there, kudos to you to making sure that becomes public. And second, starting early with getting schools to make this as part of their conversation at a very young age so that people can be engaged. I want to applaud you for your work. And again, it goes to show that it's been our youth who have brought this up. I know our commissioner from District 6, and who also interned with Councilmember and Vice Mayor Chenier, Hannah Yee, would tell us the stories that she would see on Stockton Boulevard of human trafficking and what she saw for many victims at a very young age. And now she's, a leader in her own right and in college, but started off as a commissioner and an intern here in Sacramento. So kudos again to this group. I appreciate all your work and keep at it.
Great. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Thank you. And yeah, just to echo my colleague Councilmember Guerra's comments, major props to you for tackling a really tough challenge. Another element that I think is lost is just the power of youth talking to other youth. And I get chills and a little emotional thinking about the fact that that you started this conversation over a survey, like you may have already saved some of your peers from falling victim to this without realizing it. And so I just want to recognize that it's so powerful when peers talk to peers, and the conversations that you started are so brave, and having your voice in that PSA is so important, because some of your peers are just going to listen to you differently than they would listen to us. And maybe they're going to be a little bit more aware already just based off of what you've done. And that just is really incredible. And so I just want to thank you and recognize that, and look forward to continuing on these next steps you've outlined for us.
Okay, thank you. Pro Tem Ashby.
So Councilmember Valenzuela's word choice is perfect. Brave. It's a brave topic. Everybody's presentations tonight were great, but this is a really brave topic for young people to choose. Many of us have worked on this issue in a variety of ways, and I'm just going to be very real with you, young ladies. Until about 6 months ago, when Councilmember Valenzuela and Councilmember Vang joined this council, I served for 6 years as the only female here. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get resources spent on these types of topics. It's a challenge to keep them at the top of the heap. I stood by myself at a podium once and declared our city to be taking on human sex trafficking. And my partners in those efforts often came from other agencies where women had been elected, whether it was the DA's office or the county supervisors or maybe even our congresswomen. And I think sometimes this is why we skip over where gender parity is really important. And this is one of those spots. One of my best friends runs a program in Oak Park that deals almost exclusively with human sex trafficking. And she would tell you how sad it is to walk into a 4th grade classroom and just ask the kids to close their eyes and raise their hands if they've had any experience with this. It's a very high number throughout that region. And we have to concentrate a lot more energy and effort onto it. I love your billboard. The slogan that silence is not golden. Boy, I don't know if that was a team effort or if one of you came up with that. If one of you came up with it, then that person or 2 of you or 3 of you needs to go into marketing, because that was brilliant. Really proud of you. And I love your logo. The fact that you made an intentional move to be inclusive, to try to show women of different ages and all different nationalities and sizes and shapes, because this isn't exclusive. And I'm just really proud of you for taking it on. Great job.
Hey, Councilmember Vang.
Thanks, Vice Mayor. I think I too also want to echo Mayor Pro Tem Ashby, Councilmember Guerra, Councilwoman Valenzuela, just really about being brave and centering such an important topic. And most importantly, really sharing the misconception too, right? When we talk about human trafficking, I think that was incredibly powerful. The image that you had on your billboard as well, right? You also talked about how human trafficking disproportionately impact LGBT and immigrant and communities of color. And I think that's super powerful. But I think one thing that Councilwoman Valenzuela mentioned was the peer-to-peer is what I also wanted to mention, is that just how powerful that is to hear from another young person, really just the resources and what's available. So I just want to commend all of you for centering this very important topic, and really looking forward to continuing the work and watching you all continue this work, right? And being advocates, not just in this moment, but as you move forward. And so just really proud. So great job, everyone.
Great. Thank you, Council Member.